We're fitting a glazed fire door into a kitchen opening. Remove the other door. This one's glazed. It is a fire rated door. It's a bit tall, so we're going to cut it down. We're going to add the 3 hinges to it. Whilst it's there, I want to start marking out. I've got to do my marking out before we get cutting. So when I'm marking this out, the way this guys is going to go is it's got grooves on this side. So to keep the cleaning easy, we're going to put the grooves on the outside, so on the inside. And the grease could be cleaned on a clean glass. The other thing to watch out for is where you're going to put your hinges. You want to start marking them out now. So you got to think about where the hinges are going. And I'll actually put an edge side pointing to where I'm going to put it. So you can see that edge side up there. You want to check that out up there. So that's going to be one of the hinges. So I know my hinges are going to hang here, because when I start moving the door around, I don't want to lose track of which side they are and put them on the wrong side. So I'll put a couple of ones pointing that way. That means my hinge is going to be pointing out that way. It's a little high, so we've taken the measurements. The width is fine. This is too tall. We've got to take a bit off. Being a fire door, you can only take a few mil off the edges. So we'll do it evenly, top and bottom, so that you keep a higher base rail than the top rail. So I've calculated the door height in the frame, and that is 1947. We'll fit 1947 in there. So we've got to cut the door down. The door is a typical door 1981 high, and we're going to cut it now. To keep it even, we're going to cut the same amount off of either side. And I don't want my mice blade, which will be new in a minute, going through these studs, or sorry, staples. So we'll take those out and we'll get a bin in a minute. So prep the door first, and the reality is sometimes they're a bit tight on space, especially when it's refurbishments, redoing work. But when you're looking for space to work on a door, you want to have at least the full door flat lying out like that. So we have it up on trestles and flat out, and then we can work on it and get round it and be able to move it out. We'll get these out of here. They'll go through our nose blade and take it out, and we'll bin those in a moment. And we got a decent pencil, and that's some right. Set this. It is 17 either side. So we need to take 17 off the top and the bottom. I'm going to run my line on that. Double check if you cut this incorrectly. It's not a cheap way to fix it. Can't add a bit on. Right, so we're going to cut on the waist side of that line. We'll mark that one up when we turn it around. So being conscious of where the dust is going as well. Our extractor's down here, so we're going to have to cut here. Then we have to flip the door, cut here again. That'll be it. Then, whilst we're doing it, we need a new blade in here. That door's been primed. It's going to get a nice cut, but we need a new blade. So what's this? This is a Bosch GKS 18 volt 57G. So we got the battery in that. Let's test it. Noise. Good to go. So I'm putting my blade over the end there, and that is coming down at the bottom. I want to check that. If I wanted to get it up there a little, make sure that that's up a small bit amount. Lock that in place. So that is going to come through there when it's up on the blade. So you can make action. That'll do. Now it's tight. Good to go. So I've put my line on it. I'm going to put the rail saw up to it. And we're going to take a little off of this. Rail saw is really accurate. It's far better than a skill saw. So if you're going to get a skill saw is the brand. If you're going to get a circular saw, I would definitely say go with a rail saw. Some of them are rail saws like this, but you get other ones that are plunge saws. Unfortunately, mine was stolen. I prefer the plunge saw, but this is going to be good enough. That's in there. I'm going to mark it up. I'm going to check my line. It's on the waist side of that line when we look right in there, so we can see it. So we're going to cut this in a moment. So when you look at what's cut out of a door, even though this is a fire door, that's what's inside it. It's actually just chipboard and it's laminated. It's not solid wood. And you've got these dowels that are keeping the bottom bit in. You're supposed to take 6mm off. If you go a bit beyond it, you'll get into this, but we're not going to see this on the top and the bottom. And you can see on the sides, when you cut on the side of a door, so if we cut down on those bits, if you cut more than that distance, if you're cutting more than 15mm off, you're just going into chipboard and then the screws won't fit into it. This one thankfully fits, but this is why they tell you can only cut 3mm off a door to fit it into an existing frame. And then the screw has something to fit into. So that's right the way through. Otherwise, it's just chipboard. When these doors have been primed, the edge that's actually very sharp, and that would actually cut your fingers. So you want to take a scrap bit of sandpaper that you have, give that a clean on that, round it off, or if someone was to catch their toe in that, that would be very painful. So you round it off a little, and it's the arris. Take the arris off of that sharp corner. It'll also help with decorating, but the decorator's not going to paint the bottom of that door. That's that. That's better. Terrific. Not so sharp. Okay, so those existing hinges are going to be pretty much the right place for those existing hinges. So what we'll do is we'll prop the door up and we'll mark where the existing hinges are going on to the door. We'll transfer it from the frame to the door. I'll transfer that across the bottom of my hinge. And it's more important that I work off the bottom line. On the top one, work on the bottom. On the bottom one, work on the top. So once I've marked up where my hinges are going to go, it's easier for the decorator. They won't have so much to fill and work out our hinges off that. When I'm teaching this in class, we've got nice timber to work on. But in reality, when you're out on site and you're trying to fit it into an old hinge, what you've got are paint, old screws or nails in it, and that's going to ruin your chisel. So that's why it's important to be able to sharpen your own chisels, because it's doing the carpentry on site, it will want them very quick. And as we're doing the actual hinges, I've marked this one up and I've got that, I had it on, got my pencil line around it, and it's not a bad way to see exactly as you do on a new one. Hold it by the neck, turn that round. When you're knocking that bevel in, it was going to knock the timber that way. So let's get a close-up on that. So where the flange of the hinge comes down with the line of the door, we got a nice gap. That's not going to squeak on that, top and bottom, and that's a flush finish. Hinge on that one. So I'm going to mark up to the edge of that flange, to the edge of the door, and that's going to go there. When I'm doing it, I'll put a hinge on there, and I'll pull that hinge out. So as you can see that gap along there. And I've marked where I'm going to the top of that hinge, and we'll mark that and get that right on that edge. Mark it round. And through there.
What's a flange?
That's it there. So you still got the gap between the barrel. You've still got the gap between the barrel and that piece of metal there. So that's actually what sits on the door. Because otherwise, if this was right up to it, your door would squeak. So typically on a refurbished project like this one, where the door is a solid door, instead of having a router on it and dust everywhere, I'd knock this out by hand. It's as fast, if not faster, so they don't have so much dust to clean out. If I needed to take the door out because it's dusty, I'll take it out. We're on the 3rd or 4th floor here, so we're going to be doing it inside and using an extractor on it, and that's fine. Everything's dusted up, so when we get onto this later, because it's glass, I won't do by chisel. I'll do it with a router. So on a tubular match, you get this hole, and some people are wondering what that is. Well, I'll show you now. We're going to put a screw right through that. And we get these. They've got a little screw there, a grub screw. That'll go in there, and it'll squeeze that in. Some people put in there, but it's a bit long. And we got this bolt and nut that go right through. And that should catch through here and through there. So when you get problems with the handles coming out, get a set of these and that'll help a lot. Great. And that'll bolt right through, and that'll hold that together nicely for me. So it'll bolt right through and that'll hold that nicely together. That's it.